Made in Hollywood.
An author is the original creator of a written work. Ransom Riggs earned a degree in literature from Kenyon College and a master's degree from the USC Film School. Mr. Riggs began his career as a freelance writer and has gone on to write such books as The Sherlock Holmes Handbook and Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Hi, my name is Ransom Riggs. You're watching Made in Hollywood, and here's a scene from Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Follow me. There's something I need to show you. Would you mind tying that rope around my waist?
And it's just around the bend.
Promise to hold on tight.
There's a new world coming.
Wait, what's happening?
This one's coming to an end.
Come meet the others.
You wrote this book in 2011, so I think everyone wants to know what really inspired the idea of creating these peculiar children.
My inspiration was sort of a twofold thing. I, like Jake, was a kid growing up in Florida, feeling a little suffocated, feeling a little peculiar, looking for a door to another world, an escape of some kind. Mine was fiction, but my wish fulfillment dream would have been to find an island full of cool kids who could do amazing things, and I found I was one of them. But also I was a photo collector, and I was collecting old vintage found photos, and the faces and the mystery of those pictures made me think I could use the photos to create a sort of breadcrumb trail of mystery for a character to get to that island. So it's sort of a combination of both just my life experience and my weird collection of pictures.
Jake, right on time. Miss Peregrine, delighted to meet you.
He's invisible.
Of course. We're what's known in common parlance as peculiar.
At any point while you were writing this novel, were you thinking this could totally be a movie?
I was so superstitious about that I dared not dream it would ever become a movie, but when I heard it was going to be directed by Tim, I was finally allowed to say, this is what I wanted. Now I can say it out loud.
When was the point when, after you published the book, now someone comes knocking and says, we want to make this into a movie, and Tim Burton wants to direct it?
The book was actually optioned before it came out, but it was many, many months until I found out that they had a director interested, and it was Tim Burton. So there was a lot of nail-biting and waiting, and as an author, you're really protective of your material, but when I found out that it was Tim, I was like, okay, it's in very safe hands. I don't have to worry.
And you kind of just let him take the reins and do whatever, right? Because you're like, I trust what he's going to do.
I've been a film nerd for many years, and I knew that Tim was the best possible choice, so I said, the best thing I can do is stand back.
Because our abilities don't fit in the outside world. We live in places like this, where no one can find us.
What was it like then when you first stepped onto the set and this whole world that you actually created came to life?
It was unbelievable. It was a crazy moment to, especially in Belgium, where they were filming in a real old house that was full of the props and designed sets and things, and it felt like you could really walk through the world that I had dreamed up, and Tim had also dreamed up, so. It's a crazy feeling to create something and then have a genius come and add more stuff to it, and you're like, that's good too, wow. You create in a linguistic world, and Tim creates in a visual world, and so it grows an extra dimension, like growing, a few extra limbs or a couple dozen extra eyeballs.
Claire, why aren't you eating?
She's embarrassed in front of Jake.
Don't be.
What advice do you have for any young, aspiring novelists?
The hardest thing to do as a writer, especially when you're just starting out, is to turn off that inner critic in your head and say, it's okay, just go and don't worry about it, just finish, and then you can edit the page. You can't edit a blank page, so just work and don't criticize yourself too much.
To keep us safe, we create a time loop. A loop preserves the last 24 hours. Reset the loop, and you can stay here forever.